Thank you, Sue. So I will be going over how to enter your information in the template. Something I want to flag is that these are customized quarterly reporting template. Every jurisdiction will receive their own customized template with a lot of data pre-populated to reduce your data entry. And these will all be made available to jurisdictions before the opening of the submission window. So please make sure you're using your correct template to report your information. So as I mentioned, there will be a lot of pre-populated data on your templates. If you are a first-time reporter, your pre-populated data will include your reporting period, start and end date, submission deadline, the name of your participating jurisdiction, your total potential allocation, the cumulative funds dispersed to your jurisdiction, as well as a list of your approved programs, their program types, their program administrators, and their program allocation. You will also have some basic information on your administrative costs, such as your administrative cost thresholds. If you have any contracted entities, you will also have a list of those at the bottom. And that will all be pre-populated for you if you are a first-time reporter. If you are reporting in
I'm sorry, can I interrupt a second? Can you make your screen a little bit bigger? I think it's quite hard for people to see. Okay.
Thank you, Anya. Thank you, Sue.
Is that better for everyone? Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Sorry about that. So if you're a first-time reporter, you'll have all of those fields filled out. But if you are a subsequent reporter, you will have additional information, such as your cumulative as of prior quarter end data. If you've reported that you've EOT'd funds in the past, you will see that populated here, as well as if you've reported anything for your recycled funds, EOT, you'll see that here, as well as any reporting for administrative costs, program income, and all of that information. So we'll try to fill out as much of this reporting template as we can for you. So you've probably noticed that there are two different colors on this template. You've got this gray and the white. So the gray columns will all be locked. That will contain your pre-populated data, and you will not be able to edit them. But we do expect you to fill out your data in the white columns where applicable. So if you ever forget what columns you need to enter data in, just remember that it's the white columns that you will see here on all these different sections. And also to make filling out your template easier, we have included tooltips for as many fields as we can. Basically, if you mouse over one of these fields, you will see some information that tells you about what data that is collecting or showing. So for example, you can see it for the total potential allocation. It's the sum of all potential allocated funds with the breakdown. Here it includes main capital, SETI incentive, VSB allocation. Most of these come directly from the reporting guidance. So that is another great tool to use when you are filling out your quarterly report if you have any questions about the data that you should be reporting. So looking at this template a bit more in detail now, we can see that there are several different sections. The first section will be some generic information with your reporting period, start and end date, submission deadline, and the name of your jurisdiction. I am, using testing data, so you will see your actual jurisdiction's name here and not just sample PJ. This second section will be your program information and program allocated funds expended, obligated, or transferred. You'll see your total potential allocation, the funds you have received, again, that list of approved programs, that information, as well as this is where you will fill out your program allocated funds, EOT. And then below that section, you'll see the administrative section. And this is where you will report your direct administrative costs, your indirect administrative costs. And you'll see also your administrative cost threshold all right here. And then you have your other required information, such as program income, cap charge-offs, you'll report all that here. And you have a section for additional information right here. So you can leave comments as required or as you would like. And then we also have the contracted entity information at the bottom. If you have any contracted entities, you'll see a list of all of their names, as well as the budgeted amounts. You are able to edit that budgeted amount if necessary. So that is the template. So now I will go through an example of reporting some funds EOT for your different programs. So we are going to start with our first program. It's a sample loan guarantee program. We've allocated 46 million to it. You have spent, about 1.5 million. So let's say this quarter, we are going to EOT 10 million to this program. You're just going to want to enter that right there. And when you click out of it, you'll see that it has started to total at the bottom right here. And it has started to also increase your cumulative as of current quarter data. So you'll see that all right there as you enter your data. Next, we're going to move to our sample investment initiative. This is a equity capital program funds. And as Sue mentioned earlier, for your venture capital programs, please make sure to include your 171 fees while you're reporting. So we're going to say that we have EOT'd $8 million for this program. And we're going to include that here. I'm going to click out of it. And you are going to see that gives us an error. So we have built this template to prevent you from entering data that is not correct or, unlikely to be correct. So if you enter data that is not, acceptable at the system, you will get an error. And the error will give you, a list of possible options. So we can see number one, the first possible option is that the input must be numeric. We've entered a number, so, we can see that this is not the cause of the error. Number two, a current quarter amount must be positive. We have entered 8 million, which is a positive number. So we can see that is also not the cause of the error. Number three, current quarter amount plus adjustment and cumulative as of prior quarter end exceeds program allocation. We have been allocated 100 million for this program, and we have not come close to meeting that allocation. So we can see that that is not the cause of this error. And then the last option would be reported EOT exceeds funds dispersed. So that is the cause of our error. And we can see that because we reported 10 million for this first program, which puts that at, it gets cut off, but it's roughly $53.3 million. And if you add 8 million to 53 million, that puts us above the funds that we have received. That is over $60 million. And it is not possible to EOT more money than you have been dispersed, which is why it is giving us that error. So we are going to hit retry, and we are going to enter a number that is lower. Let's try 5 million this time. We're going to click out of that. So we can see here that we did not get an error, but this template is showing some red shading. So red shading also indicates, a potential error in the data you have reported. Please do not submit your template with any fields colored in red. This indicates that somewhere your data is incorrect, and it does highlight, the pieces that would be helpful in determining what this error is. If you cannot figure out why your template is in red, please reach out to either your outreach manager or another member of the SSBCI team, and they will help you resolve that issue, but do not submit your template with red shading. So we're going to look at these two columns that we see, or fields that we see here in red. So we can see that it's the total cumulative as of current quarter. It's 58 million, which is below our 60 million. So that itself isn't, the only cause of the issue. And then we can see here this 2.8 million, which is the total for administrative costs, is also shaded. And we can see, okay, these in combination are the issue. 58 million plus 2.8 million is over 60 million. So between, the program allocated funds EOT and the administrative costs EOT, we are again saying that we have spent more money than we have received, which is not accurate. So this is the same issue as the error before, but so shown in a slightly different way. So we are going to go back to this and we're going to edit this number and say, let's bring it down to $2 million. And we can see that that error will go away. And then let's say that we have spent 1 million for our capital access program. Okay. So that is an example of filling out the program allocated funds EOT for your different programs. You will get, errors and see red shading if you have entered data that is unlikely to be correct. Moving over to the recycled funds EOT section, for those of you who are reporting recycled funds EOT, you would want to fill out this section just like we filled out the program allocated funds EOT, and you will see it some across as well. All right, so now we are going to move into the administrative costs section. So we can see some basic information about the administrative costs. So we can see that we have EOT'd at 2.8 million in the past, and that our threshold is just over 3 million. So for your first tranche disbursement, your administrative cost threshold cannot exceed 5% of your disbursement. And we can see here that ours is at 4.97%. And we have, expended very close, or we have EOT'd 4.67%. So we're very close to hitting that threshold. But let's say in this quarter, I have EOT'd $600,000. If I want to enter that here, we will see that it will give me an error with a few options as well. Our cause of the error is option number 3. Total administrative costs cannot exceed administrative cost threshold. If I expended $600,000 in this current quarter, that will put me, significantly over my threshold, and that is not allowed. But as Sue mentioned, you are able to offset your administrative costs through program income. So let's first move down then to our program income section right here at the bottom. So you can see that previously I reported 600,000 of program income. And then let's say in this current quarter, I want to report another 200,000 of program income. So I'll enter that here and it'll total up to the 800,000. So I said that I wanted to report, 600,000 for direct administrative costs in this current quarter. I can then make an adjustment to my program income by entering a negative number or a number in parentheses and use that income to offset my administrative costs. So I'm going to enter 500,000 here and use that to offset my administrative costs. So you'll first want to enter it in the program income adjustments field. And then you'll want to move up to your administrative costs and enter that adjustment up here. You need to make sure to enter that adjustment on both columns, as Sue mentioned earlier. And then once I've made that adjustment, I can go ahead and report my 600,000 of administrative expenses. And we can see that that does not give me an error. It accepts me offsetting my administrative costs with program income. So that is an example of offsetting your administrative costs using program income. So then you would want to fill out if you have any cap charge-offs here before moving down to the comment section. So here is where you would leave any comments regarding your quarterly report. You are required to leave comments if you have made an adjustment, which in this case, we have made an adjustment and we have used program income to offset administrative costs. So you would want to leave some detailed information about what you did. We're just going to quickly write program income used to offset admin costs, but please be detailed in your comments. And then we can also edit the budgeted amount for the contracted entities below. And that is the majority of the data that will be entered on the quarterly report. However, there are a few other instances where you might need to enter adjustments, as directed by the SSBCI team. If you are processing an unenrollment, as Sue discussed earlier, Once your unenrollment has been completed, you will have received notification from the SSBCI compliance team regarding that. You would want to report the adjustment for the applicable program up here. So if it was 20,000 or however much, the cost of however much the transaction was that is being unenrolled, you would want to report that in the adjustment and make sure to enter it as a negative number. And that adjustment would also require a comment in the comment section here. But again, you will be directed when to make those adjustments by the SSBCI team. So that concludes my demonstration of the quarterly report template. Does anyone have any questions?
If there are no questions, I just want to highlight what Ian said and Sue said as it relates to the adjustments on enrollment. The quarter reports are only capturing SSBCI amounts, so please only unenroll the portion of the SSBCI that's being removed from the transaction. But I think we have some questions, so I'll stop talking. Please feel free to come off mute. I think I saw a couple of people raise their hands. Dwayne.
Hi, this is Dwayne Thomas with the St. Regis Mohawk Tribe. We have just got our allocation, so we haven't done anything yet. So are we just going to put zeros in for this first report?
Yes, but if your funds are being held in an interest-bearing account, you should also report any interest that you have accrued within that period, if applicable.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. Allison?
Hi, Mayma. Regarding Anya's adjustment for the program income used for admin, when you go to the comment under direct admin, it states dollar amount of allocated funds. I thought we're only reporting funds used for admin that's part of the allocation. Program income's not part of the allocation.
Program income is any funds that you accrue from the allocation, such as interest or any fees that you receive. So that's what's in reference to program income.
But I thought the allocation total was what's in cell D11. That doesn't include program income.
That's correct. Well, that was in the Anya, can you shift back up to D11? I'm sorry. So that's your potential thank you, Anya. That's your potential allocation. So that's what you potentially can receive within your 3 disbursements. And that's the column 13 is your current disbursement. Your
yeah, so I wasn't including program income used for admin as part of allocated funds because it wasn't part of that total potential allocation.
And that makes sense. You might use your program income for access of the threshold of the admin cost. So if your first tranche is 5%, so if you use any amount in excess of that 5%, you can use program income for. So program income is not factored in that amount, if that's what you're asking. I'm sorry, Allison.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Appreciate it. If we don't have any more questions, Anya, I will turn it over to you. Sorry for taking over to turn over to Jay. Thank you.